Hello, my amazing artist. Today we are going to learn about form. Form is an element of art, and the elements of art are like the ingredients we use to create an artwork. In this video, we will be focusing on three-dimensional shapes. Three-dimensional shapes have form because they take up space, and you can see them from all the way around. Now, in art, we can either draw form or we can build form. Today, we're going to learn how to build our very own three-dimensional shapes using some tape, some scissors, a pencil, and you might need a ruler if you have one. Also, if you have some three-dimensional shapes, that could help, but you don't need it. You will need some square pieces of paper, but if you only have rectangular pieces of paper, watch this. Take the bottom right corner, you're going to fold it up and try to match the left long side of the paper. It's going to create the shape of a triangle, a right angled triangle. Then you crease, rotate your paper, and now you're going to cut away the little strip of paper that is left shown. So go slow and just cut up against that line, and then when you open it, voila, you now have a square piece of paper. To save paper, you could take the square piece of paper that you made, fold this in half, going left to right, line up the edges and crease, then keep it folded, and you're going to fold in the other direction. You're going to fold it in half, going the other direction. So either up to down or down to up. Alrighty, when you open it one time, you're going to see a crease line. Go ahead and cut on that line. Then you can open it and cut on that line that you had folded. And look, you're going to notice that you just created 4 squares using one piece of paper. Either way, you need to grab one square piece of paper. Now we're going to make this 2-dimensional flat piece of paper into something 3-dimensional. Well, simply just roll it up, scrunch it, and try to scrunch it into a ball. A sphere is like the shape of a ball because it does not have any flat sides or edges, and it can roll. All right, next, let's learn how to make a cone. A cone has a flat bottom that is the shape of a circle. So you need to draw a circle. You could use something like a cup or really anything that's circular. Put it on your paper and trace it to make a circle. That's one option, but if you don't have a circle, a simple way is to take your square piece of paper, and we're actually going to just start to trim around the side. So I'm going to take my corner and I'm going to slowly start cutting away, curving my scissor, rotating the paper a little bit. I'm going to start making the best circle that I can. Slowly just trimming away each of the corners. Now, this is not going to be perfect, and it does not have to be. To make it a little better, though, you could fold it in half. Then you can trim around this semicircle you just folded, and that's going to make it just a little more symmetrical and a more of an even circular shape. Now, since I had already folded my circle, there's a crease line. So I'm just drawing on it so you can see it better. You do not have to do this, but you should then fold your circle in the other direction. When you open it up, you'll see that now your folded lines make a cross or a T. They intersect. This is going to help us create the shape of the pyramid. So I'm going to take one of these little lines, and you're going to cut on that folded line, but stop when you get to the middle point where they intersect or where they cross. Okay, you should be able to open up your little circle, kind of like a Pac-Man. You're gonna fold it. You're gonna put one in front of the other, slide them together, and ooh, look, you're gonna notice that it starts to become three-dimensional and it starts to look a little bit like a cone. To make this stick, you need just a little bit of tape, or you could also use some glue. Another way to create a cone is you could try this rolling technique. So you're going to take one of your corners of your square paper and start rolling it, kind of like you're rolling a burrito or you're rolling up a paper to make a telescope. And you're going to try to roll one end really tight, and then it's going to make the other end loose. Okay, you're going to see that this is going to start to form a cone. To make the bottom more circular, you might have to cut off a little piece of your paper. But there you go, that's the basic shape of a cone. And of course, to make it stick, you'll have to use some tape. Next, let's learn how to build a cylinder. So here's a little test. If I just roll a piece of paper around my cylinder, well, I can tell that it starts to make the shape. This is because a cylinder has two flat circles, and then it's connected actually by a rectangle that has been rolled. So you can take your square piece of paper and roll that, and then look, it creates a cylinder. Pretty easy. And last thing, if you want it to stay, you just need a little bit of tape on the edge. Next, let's construct a pyramid. There are all sorts of types of pyramids, but this type of pyramid that we're going to build is going to have a square bottom. This is called the base, where it sits. And then the faces of a pyramid are always triangles. So take your square piece of paper, you're going to fold it from one corner to the corner across from it. So you're going to make a diagonal fold and crease. Open it up. And I'm just drawing a line here so that you can see. You do not have to draw this line. Then you're going to do the opposite. You're going to fold the other way. So make a diagonal fold going the opposite direction. Next step, you're going to cut on one of the black lines, but you're going to stop when it gets to the middle to where they intersect or they cross. So make sure you stop. And then there you go. You have two little flaps. Look, it kind of looks like legs, like someone running, or a mouth trying to eat something. But you're just going to fold it. You're going to hide one inside of the other. And you might want to crease the edges just a little bit to help get the straight edges of the pyramid. And there you go. Sometimes it might even stay like that, but of course a little bit of tape will help secure your shape. This is really similar to how we created the cylinder. So just one way of building a pyramid. The last shape we are going to learn how to construct is a cube. Now, a cube has all square faces, and there are a lot of ways that you can build a cube. This is one strategy. So if you have a ruler, you can use it to help you create the cube. I'm going to count until I reach the 5-inch mark and put a little dot. And then I'm just going to draw that line. Okay, keep your ruler where it is and draw a line on the other side. So I'm just outlining the ruler. It's 5 inches long, and then close my shape. All right, so I just built a little box, a rectangle, and now I'm going to divide this box into smaller squares. Every inch, put a little mark. This is going to divide the rectangle into 1-inch squares. And then a little trick is you can just use the straight edge of your ruler to just draw a little straight line dividing this rectangle into 1-inch squares. Next step, count to the 4th box. I'm going to put a little smiley so I remember which box that is. And then you're going to add a 1-inch square on the right side and on the left side. Even though I'm using a ruler, mine is still not perfect, and that's okay. This will still work out. So I want you to just try your best on this, and you should form what looks like the letter T. Now, if you don't have a ruler, you could just freehand it. That's when you just draw it without a ruler, and you might like that. Like I said, this is definitely something that you need to experiment with. But the main shape that you're going to want to create is something that looks like this. Alrighty, once you have created the T shape, then you just need to cut it out. Okay, now wherever there's a straight line that we had drawn, go ahead and fold and crease on those straight lines. This is going to create little 1-inch squares, and we're folding it because it's going to help a lot when we start to actually form the shape. So since a cube is made up of all square faces, well, that's what ours is. You're going to just start to fold them in, and whoa, check it out. It starts to become a cube. How cool is that? Now, like I said, this is just my strategy of how to build a cube. You can experiment and see if maybe there's a different strategy that you can come up with. Then you need a little tape. It's a little tricky, so I like to tear off a piece so it's easier to grab. Then hold it together and boom, you have built your cube. Wow, artist, if you made it through this video, that was a lot of work. But this is all about experimenting and learning how you can build forms. Then is the fun part. I want you to take those forms and arrange them to create your very own sculpture. So I challenge you to get your hands moving and your brain thinking about how you can make these forms and what you can create with them. Maybe you want to make your own town or theme park, or maybe even an invention. Maybe you want to decorate your shapes with marker or paint. Really let your imagination go wild. I think you will be surprised to see what your imagination can come up with. All right, that's it for this week. I hope you have fun, take chances, and stay curious.